Thanks. Where can I get the setup? Okay, I'll show you after this. I'll show you what I'm running, okay?
Agent charge compromised.
No, I got set on fire.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
They're all killing themselves. I have to go down there, I think. Oh, broken foot.
Needed.
Okay. Let me give you a rundown of the build. You ready? Alright. So, you want to start with the specialization being the sharpshooter. This one is going to give you bonuses for headshot, which is something we need. It's also going to give you access to um, bullet buildup, which is going to be really nice if you're running all directives like I am, heroic all directives. So when you get in cover after 10 seconds, it's like 10 or 15 seconds, you start building rifle ammo and marksman rifle ammo. So that's really nice to have. Then the next star of the show is the Determined White Death. So White Death comes with 137% headshot damage instead of the normal 111. That will be the standard. So that's what makes it special. The 26% additional headshot damage. Determined is, I frankly think it's just not working as intended right now, because the talent, what he does is he makes it so that when you land a headshot kill, the next shot you can land it anywhere on the enemy's body. It could be the pinky toe, and it will count as a guaranteed headshot. And the thing is that
Agent in need of
he keeps
backup.
on recycling again and again and again. So he makes it so that you only need one headshot, and then the rest of it you just aim at center mass, and then you'll be headshotting all day long. Now, it got nerfed months back ago, in which they made it so that it wouldn't be able to loop. So if you got it, you will have to spend it, and then you will have to get another headshot in order to activate it again. So that happened, but then like a month or so later, they reverted it back to how it was originally presented. So I don't know. I think that they may have done that by mistake. Anyway, next star of the show is Chain Killer. Chain Killer works really well in conjunction with the White Death and Determined, because what Chain Killer does is gives you a talent called Perfect Headhunter. When you land a headshot kill, you will have a 30-second window in which anything else that you shoot will have a guaranteed 150% additional damage. Now, for context, if I were to hit someone and it was a kill, and it was a damage for like 5 million damage, bam, 5 million headshot. The next shot will be 150%. So it'll be 100% of 5 million will be another 5 million, right? But it's not 100, it's 150. So it will be half of 5 will be 2.5. So 5 on 2.5, that's 7.5. So the very next shot will be 7.5 million bonus damage on top of your normal 5 that you always do. Do you see that? And the thing is that the next shot after that will be based not on the original 5 million, but now on the 5 plus the 7.5, which is like 30 and a half, right? So the next calculation will be based on 30 and a half million. And the next after that, it will be even higher and higher and higher and higher. But the thing is that will go crazy. That will go nuts if you didn't miss for a while. So they put a cap as to how high can it go. That cap is at 800%, unless you headshot damage value, when you take a look at, at the stats, if it is over 150% headshot, then you get the new weapon damage cap of 1250, which we exceed the 150% headshot by a lot. So we're getting that 1250, which is a 450% more wiggle room that allows you to get higher and higher numbers. We're going to pair this one with an Araldi Holdings backpack. This one gives me a 10% base damage for marksman rifles, and I have rolled it into every single one of the gear pieces is rolled into weapon damage. And then the backpack is into headshot and handling. The mod is also a headshot mod, and I put in vigilance into it. I did try other things, like for example, concussion. The concussion talent is okay, but I don't like it as much as vigilance. I also did try the perfect vigilance mod uh, backpack. There's a backpack called the Gift. Is it called the Gift? Oh, look at that one. That's a good one. Let's take a look at that backpack here. This one is a backpack called the Gift. It comes with a brand set of Providence, 15% headshot damage. Hey, 15%. You would think maybe that will give me a higher number. And I did try that, and it didn't give me a higher number. I don't know how the damage is calculated, but Airaldi gave me a higher number than by like almost a million, I think. I don't recall. We tested this, and that's why I'm not using the perfect vigilance. Okay. The chest piece also was rolling to headshot and handling with headshot mod, and then the four piece. We're using the four piece hotshot. Gives me a lot of bonuses for the marksman rifle that we're using, and it gives me handling 30% handling. That's incredibly good. That's really nice. And he also gives me headshot damage as well on the three piece, but the four piece is where it really shines, because the four piece makes it so that when I land one headshot, the very next one will come in with a 20% damage bonus, and then the third one that I land in a row. Okay, this must be consecutive, no missing. The next one will be 10% armor regain. And if I'm at full armor, it will give me additional armor all the way up to 50% of whatever my armor was. So I'm at 800,000 armor. So 50% of that will be 400,000. So I could potentially be running with 800 plus the 400 at 1.2 million armor. So, and that armor does not go away unless like you get shot. There's some armor that is there only temporarily. This armor is there until they shoot you. So that is a nice thing to have. But it goes more, because the very next shot that you land in a row, it will give you an armor refill, sorry, a refill of your magazine. Now, one of the biggest weaknesses of this weapon is the fact that it has 55 RPM, which is slow. It's a slow shooting, but it also has 5 rounds only before you have to reload. And the reload is almost 3 seconds. So this makes it so that you land 3 in a row, that will give you a refill of the magazine. That's why you can see, I don't know if you notice, that I don't reload very often. Have you noticed that? Just shot after shot after shot after shot. And why is that? Because I don't miss. I'm not saying that I'm a great shot. I'm saying that I go for center mass. You miss way less than if you're trying to hit that little head. On top of that, anything from the 4 shot and above that you don't miss, it will be giving you all the 3 bonuses combined again and again and again until you miss. So that gives you a lot of. Oh, and then if you're running with all directives, one of those directives is ammo hoarders. Means that the enemy is not going to drop ammo. You're going to start with only half the ammo capacity that you usually had, and you have to get ammo from the ammo boxes. But if you're running all the other directives, Fog of War makes it so you don't even see where the ammo boxes are. Especially if you're in open world, that can be a problem. Um, Ragers, if you take a look at Ragers, the global directive Ragers, is where the enemy will, random enemy, um, will have their original health plus an extra bar of health, which is represented by a green bar. So they're way harder to kill. But with this build, it doesn't matter if they're enraged or not. You take them all out in just that one shot. And that is, I think that's the build. I'm running the Tactician Drone because um, it has a very long uptime, but it also tells me where the enemy is, and that's a great thing. The scan range, I have expertise on this, all the way up to 15% additional scan range, because knowing where the enemy is makes it so that you can land your shots way easier. And then the other one is the holographic decoy. I will be running a Reviver Hive here, but being that I have cool skills directive, the moment that I use a Tactician Drone, it will put me the Hive on cooldown. My Hive will be on cooldown all the time. And I with this setup, you become so deadly that you don't really worry about
Supply room access unlocked.
um, dying.
Maybe one day I can fight beside you.
So that's the build. Did I leave anything out? Oh, the other thing is the stats. I'm running 295% headshot damage on this. This, just like handling and just like I believe crit damage, they all have diminishing returns. That once you start adding to a certain point, it will give you kind of like skill haste. I don't know if you notice skill haste. If you have no skill haste into your build whatsoever, and then you put a full roll of skill haste at 10%, or is it 12%? What's the skill haste? Whatever it is, the max roll, you will notice that your skill cooldowns go down by like 2 seconds, or a little bit over 2 seconds. And then you add another skill haste roll into it, and it doesn't give you the same amount. It gives you like 1.9 seconds, a little bit less than the one before. And then you add another one, and it gives you a little bit less and a little bit less every time until it becomes very negligible, where you're adding a 12% skill haste, and it barely gives you like 3/10 of a second. That is what is called diminishing returns. And when the very first skill haste was giving you over 2 seconds, and now you're getting 3/10 of a second, less than half a second, that means that you could be using that that attribute for something else because you're not min-maxing the build as much as you could be. And the same thing happens with headshot damage, I think, and crit damage and handling. I know handling for sure. You put too much handling, you start getting diminishing returns on your your reload speed, for example. Um, what else? All right. So I got 295% headshot damage on that. No crit chance, no crit damage. I mean, well, those are base, whatever base that is, because I have a full watch. I don't know where I'm getting the 5% from. It should be like 10%, but whichever. We're not relying on this. We're relying on the headshot part of it. Um, the speed bonus. This is all because of the handling that comes with a Hotshot build. And the last thing is that you could be getting an additional million damage on headshot if I were to go with this digital scope. This one comes with 45% additional headshot damage, but I'm not running it because I get more utility out of the 3% headshot damage. And let's be honest, we're already one-shotting everything, as you can see. We're one-shotting everything. So there is a point in which you should be okay sacrificing damage for utility. This allows me to uh, kill enemies up at close range, faster target acquisition, and the last thing that I really like that I don't get with the other scope is that look at my crosshair. Do you see those little lines there? Those are white lines, and when I have an enemy on target, that little crosshair will turn red, giving me notification that I have a shot that I'm going to hit something. And when I'm using the scope, you don't have that little notification, which some people may be not big of a deal. For me, it's a big deal, especially if it is foggy, especially if the enemy is far, or if it is kind of dark to see, hard to see because it's dark. That makes the difference for me of having a guaranteed shot or not. So that is that's the rundown. I think what I'm going to do is just maybe clip this and turn this one into a video. That way you know in the future.
You know what we do without
Um, and one last thing,
Friendly supply
that
convoy
determined
in
talent,
proximity.
I think that's going to be nerfed on one of the next updates. So this is very likely that on the next update they're going to fix the tournament. Determined talent, this one right here that gives you guaranteed headshots. I don't think that's working the way it's supposed to. So take that or take advantage of this build for as long as you can, because I don't think it's going to stay here for long.